we got James from New York. Can infinity be quantified? He wants to talk about the unified theory of everything. Hi, James, they, them from New York. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Kelley and Planet Peterson?
Good,
Hello.
good. What do you got for us?
Okay, which flavor would you like? Which flavors, which sparkles more to you, Kelley and Planet Peterson? Can we talk about both, or which one do you guys want to talk about? Kelley, you don't like talking about physics, so you probably...
That's okay. You can talk about physics because I know Planet Peterson does, so that's okay. Just don't expect me to give you a really good answer. That's all. If you want to talk mineralogy, I'm right there. But
yeah. Well, let's talk about infinity first, and we'll see if we can get to that. I want to pose the question to the both of you and see if it sparks anything different in me. What do the both of you think? Do you guys think it's possible, like, for infinity to be quantified, or not necessarily quantified, but in the sense of like that we could ever count there, but maybe in the sense that we could understand it as something that could be quantified?
Okay. Well, I mean, if quantify means to count, then it just by definition cannot be quantified. That's not possible. It can't be represented. There wouldn't even be enough photons in the universe to represent it, because we would, I mean, even if the best you could get is like what, a 1-to-1 representation. If we have an infinite universe, then just take every single fundamental thing in the universe and use it as a counting device, and then we would have quantified infinity. But that doesn't seem useful. It doesn't, even though I'm the one that said it, it doesn't even really make a lot of sense even to me. But so there are certain things which, like, for example, can you imagine a square in your head? Pretty sure you can. Can you imagine an octagon in your head? Pretty sure you can. Can you imagine a 100-sided polygon in your head? I cannot. I don't think anybody can really do that. But we can imagine what a 100-sided polygon is. That's not, at least I think we can. It doesn't actually seem all that difficult. Now, infinities, although they're absurd, I mean, mathematicians know how to do so many things with them. We know about infinite sets and how those play into. So I'm not a math magician, and yes, I did say it that way on purpose. So I can't really give you anything sophisticated here, but they're used. I mean, they're used in things that seem fairly simple, like robotics. They're used in things that are more complex, like physics. We deal. Not we as in me, but physicists have to deal with singularities in their equations and their successful predictions that have come out of those. Black holes, for example, they're mathematically predicted many decades before they were confirmed to exist. But then just, I don't know anything about calculus or whatever. Don't know much trigonometry, right? So I can't really tell you much with respect to that, but it is used, and it has been used to advance mathematics before. So quantified? No. Is it still practically useful? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you say it can't be represented, I'd like to provide a little bit of a challenge on that one, and I'd like to provide a little bit of a push and see what you would say. See if you could press back. So how would you feel about the concept if I said to you, well, we represent numbers. When we're counting or we're doing mathematics, we could spell out numbers, and we could say O-N-E, and that's 1, or T-W-O, and that's 2, and so on and so forth. But we don't normally spell out numbers when we're doing mathematics. We just, write the number we write them down with the angular, with the symbol.
Yeah.
But what if I wanted to express? What if I wanted to express infinity? All I would do is do the infinity symbol. Isn't the infinity symbol the numerical quantifiable symbol for the unquantifiable quantifiable concept of infinity?
I would say, I don't know what you would even call this, but it merely represents a concept. To say that equals that it's been quantified, I don't exactly know what you mean by that. Like I can literally, like our idea of what one is can be drawn, with a line. That's one. And what's cool about that is there's only one of them, right? And I can do the same thing with two. There's literally a singular symbol for two. It just represents two. There isn't two of anything there when I do that. There's actually only one of something there when I do that. Maybe the Romans had it right the way they did the way they did all those you don't after 3 they don't match anymore. So probably not really. But no, I don't think drawing creating a symbol for infinity is quantifying infinity.
Okay, I'll challenge you again. What if I had, have you seen, Kelley and Planet Peterson, have you guys seen those things, like people rig up, and they have them at maybe at Epcot and amusement parks, where you get in them and you got to get in a suit, they put a helmet on you, and it's like those circular things, and they spin you around in all circular directions, which represents a full range of three-dimensional motions.
Sure, yeah.
Then I was thinking about something else too while I was in the mating queue that I could help, this would help along with. But imagine one of those. You're moving in a full three-dimensional range of motion. Don't you think in that almost represents a certain form of infinity? And then if we could ever get a certain source of energy that would supply us with infinite energy, we have this idea that then at least we know that infinity in and of itself is something that is kind of tangible to a certain degree.
That flow chart of ideas made me more confused than anything we had talked about before that.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like what you're saying is because we have a symbol of something that makes it tangible. To simplify what you said.
When I was talking that, I didn't mean it was tangible. I was going to be more quantifiable. But when I started talking about that kind of rig and ride you get hooked up to, then if you can move in a full range of three-dimensional motion, I mean, that is in and of itself a form of infinity.
Why? Why is the ability to move in 3 dimensions a representation of infinity?
Because
I'm confused too.
Because I'll explain it. To me, I think infinity is quite simple. And I think because if there is no range of if you're moving in a full three-dimensional range of motion without limit, you can go anywhere and do anything. Then the infinite is right at your fingertips.
Okay, so because in a 3-dimensional space, there are an infinite number of locations or whatever configurations within it, then that's a representation of infinity. That's no more of a representation of infinity than drawing the sideways 8 on paper or a number line. Literally just draw a number line, start at -1, go to 1. There's an infinite number of digits, natural numbers or whatever, or real numbers, whichever one it is, between -1 and 1. So
yeah, I'm thinking of Zeno's paradox.
Yeah, that too.
Zeno's paradox? Did Zeno call tonight?
Pardon?
Or is that what is Zeno's paradox?
It's it has to do with infinity. That he had several of them, but I'm going to do the arrow one. If you shoot an arrow at a target, it before it can reach the target, it has to reach the halfway point. And before it can reach the halfway point, it has to reach the halfway point to that. And because there's an infinite regression, it can never go beyond, it can never hit the target, basically, because it always has to pass the infinite number of halfway points. And since it's an infinite number, it can never pass them.
Do you agree with this theory?
No, it's not a theory. It's a paradox.
What do you think about? Yeah, I know. What do you think about this paradox, Kelley? What's your opinion?
I think it illustrates how numbers can be kind of screwed up. Math isn't always a perfect representation of the world.
A finite set can contain an infinite series. If you talk to somebody that knows mathematics, they'll tell you the same thing. And what they'll also be able to do, maybe, is explain it, which I don't think either of us really can. But you can have an infinite series in a finite set.
I'll tell you what. I do understand this. I'm starting to understand this paradox, thinking about my childhood and doing archery, because I never saw a single one of my arrows hit a friggin' target. And that's what I was aiming for. So maybe every single one of my arrows still going through an infinite regress.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, it's still trying to get past those halfway points, huh?
I'm blind, Planet Peterson. So maybe now you might feel a little bad.
Well, then you don't even know if they didn't hit the target.
Well, okay, so I'm not totally blind.
Okay. Okay.
I am visually impaired though.
All right.
James,
I'll take your word for it.
We're almost out of time for the show, and I have one more call I'd really like to get to. So I would love it if you call back.
Call, guys.
I would love it if you call back and talk to us again, though. So please do. Okay, James?